Some 72 rail miles to the north of London lies the market town of Kettering. The approach from the station is by way of a tree-lined road, at the top of which lies the Manor House Gardens. On the immediate right hand is a small row of old world almshouses, erected by Edmund Sawyer in 1688. Proceeding towards the marketplace, one passes the art gallery, built in the classic style. Adjoining it, the public library and one-time museum, built of red brick and Kettering stone in the early Renaissance style of architecture. The parish church of Saints Peter and Paul is a mixture of architecture. First mention of it was made in 1146 when Pope Eugenius III confirmed by charter all the lands and liberties of the Abbey of Peterborough, including Kettering with the church and the mill and with all its appurtenances. The crossed keys are symbolic of Saints Peter and Paul. In 1227 the village attained the right of a township when Henry III granted the Abbot of Peterborough the right to hold a market in their manor of Kettering every 7th day on Friday, and one fair every year of 8 days lasting. The fair is held on the Northampton Road Recreation Ground during the week following the Feast of St. Peter and Paul, hence its title, Kettering Feast. There are 2 markets every Friday. The cattle market was once held in London Road, which is now a car park. Now, a new market has been built in the Northfield Avenue. The general market is held on Fridays and Saturdays and is usually very busy. An old map of the marketplace shows Rotten Row, which was of wooden construction with thatched roofs, which once stood on the east side of Sheep Street. Another row on the south side of the market have also long since been demolished. On the east side of the marketplace stands what used to be the Corn Exchange. At one time it was the Hippodrome Cinema, and at the side there is still a reminder of those times. The Jarrow marchers stayed here overnight on their march to London during the 20s Depression. Continuing into the town, we enter the High Street. On April the 10th, 1970, work began on the Bakehouse Hill, which is now no more. This was to make way for road improvement and a new shopping area. Another project is the clearance of old houses in the Thorngate Street area. Blocks of council flats are being erected in place of the rows of small terraced houses which once stood in this area. Opposite the Bakehouse Hill stands the Toller Chapel, a monument to nonconformity. A Sunday schoolboy whose faith this was became Kettering's greatest son, William Knibb, freer of slaves. Towards the top of Gold Street stands the Fuller Baptist Chapel, for in 1792 the famous Carey, Andrew Fuller, immortalised Kettering, which became overnight the Bethlehem of the Baptist Missionary Society. North of the traffic lights is Newland Street, which gives way to the broad tree-lined Rockingham Road. Prominent on the right hand, as one leaves the town, is the St Andrew's Church. Rockingham Road extends for some mile and a half before the open country is reached, and as one progresses, one sees the differences which help to make the character of Kettering. At first there are the older streets with their terraced houses. Most Kettering people take a pride in their home, and quite a lot of these older houses have been modernised and are small palaces. Further north we have the avenues, long, straight, tree-lined roads of slightly larger Victorian houses. On the outskirts are new housing estates which have mushroomed since the last war. Just before reaching these estates, and set beyond the high wall, is what appears to be a large house. This is the headquarters of the Boot and Shoe Allied Trades Research Association, known as Sartre House. 1969 was their jubilee year, but in 1965 Kettering put out flags and bunting for a special occasion. We were to have not one, but two very special guests calling on us. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip paid a royal visit, their main call being at Sartre House. The first boot factory was opened in 1790. Although the boot and shoe industry didn't actually begin flourishing until 1857, since when it has grown together with its subsidiary industries. Since the last war, however, many small factories have had to close down due to up-to-date manufacturing procedures making it impossible for the small concern to compete with their bigger brothers. In this factory, set amidst gardens, modern methods spew forth thousands of pairs of shoes per week. The days of the hand-welted shoe would seem to have gone. Clothing, on the other hand, has been one of Kettering's staple industries for a long, long time. From the tamis, shalloons and serges once made on small looms have grown the big clothing concerns. In these factories the stock cutting rooms turn out menswear by the hundred. One of Kettering's nicest features is its parks and gardens, which are mostly to be found close by a main road. Others have to be searched for, like Westfield Gardens. It is not generally known that a small garden of rest can be found behind the Toller Chapel in Gold Street. One of the larger open spaces is the Rockingham Road or Pleasure Park. To the south of the town lies Kettering's major holiday attraction, the Wicksteed Park, founded by Charles Wicksteed for the benefit of the local children. Now, bank holidays in particular find it the mecca for thousands of Midlanders, some of whom travel considerable distances to enjoy its amenities. The playground is the largest of its type in the country and is a child's paradise. The park is some 107 acres in area with its own lakes and cycle track. Model boat enthusiasts have their own lake. birds with their gay plumage in the aviary attract many onlookers. In the season, the water shoot is usually well patronised. And for the foot-weary holidaymaker, a leisurely ride on the narrow gauge railway in the late afternoon shows the 26-acre lake to advantage. The diesel-powered engines always attract admirers. Charles Wicksteed's business was engineering, which is Kettering's third industry. They produced playground swings and slides and metal cutting machines. Whitfield, Hodgson's and Brough manufacture shoe repairing machinery. It is associated with the British United Shoe Machinery Company of Leicester. Timpson's is another major engineering concern. Printing presses are made at these works and exported all over the globe. The town has good newspaper coverage, with the Northamptonshire Evening Telegraph and the weekly Kettering Leader. They belong to the East Midland Allied Press Group. To the west of the town, lying on the busy A6 trunk road, is the plastics firm of Thurgood Bolley, who are one of many firms on this new industrial estate. On the other side of the road lies the Kettering and District General Hospital, with its large complex of wards, laboratories, operating theatres and offices. The nurses are housed in the tallest building in the district, whilst the hospital is the largest of its kind in the Midlands. The St Mary's Hospital is situated by the main London road. It is a geriatric hospital, has an outpatients department and maternity unit. The old section was once known as the Poor Law Institution, where the poor and elderly of the town resided. This image disappeared with the advent of the modern health service. Many excellent schools tend to the educational requirements of the town's youth, ranging from infant schools, secondary modern, to the grammar and high schools. The Kingsley Open Air Special School, opened in 1913, was the first of its kind in the country. The old grammar school building in Bowling Green Road houses the municipal offices, whilst the school is now a modern edifice in Windmill Avenue. The Kettering Technical College in St Mary's Road is one of the largest in the county and offers courses in a diversity of subjects as well as orthodox academic studies. Sport is very well catered for in the town. Cricket at the North Park, for instance. Bowling and putting greens are to be found in the Rockingham Road Park, to name but one location. Kettering is lucky in having a heated indoor and outdoor swimming pool, which are used extensively all through the year. Kettering Football Club's ground lies on the Rockingham Road. The club, known as the Poppies, has quite a long history. Carnival bands from the area are represented at one of the highlights of the Kettering year, the annual Carnival for the Blind. Local societies and firms enter a variety of floats, and adults and children enter different classes of fancy dress. Many and varied are the costumes, and originality scores highly. A Carnival Queen is chosen from the local young women, and her term of office is for 1 year. Kettering is fortunate in having a number of amateur societies whose annual productions are always popular. The various shows are invariably of a high standard. Over 7,000 people saw the Operatic Society's production of The Sound of Music in 1971. for the most part, the town enjoys a most equitable climate, but on March the 4th, a snowfall of 11 inches in 3 hours caused chaos on the roads in Kettering. Numerous traffic jams resulted, and some roads couldn't be cleared for 3 days after the fall. This then is Kettering, a town with a history, a town looking to the future.